Hi, I'm in between consultations right now, and I just wanted to say a quick word about why I think marriages fail and why divorces happen. My name is Lee Balcom, and I'm one of the Internet's leading marriage experts, and I want to help you understand exactly what's going on in your marriage so that you have a choice. You've probably heard of statistics that show that almost 1/2 of all marriages will end in divorce. That raises the question of what are we doing wrong, and why can't we stay married? There are some reported reasons why marriages fail, but they are only reported reasons, and they're only pointing us toward the real reason that we're going to get to just a little bit later on in this video. The first number one reported reason is finances. People say that finances are what lead to divorce more than anything else. Now, I have to tell you, I think that's a myth. I think it's just something that we tell ourselves it's about finances, because it's not whether people have money or don't have money. It's how they deal with money that tends to be the reported issue. Finances is only a symptom of the real reason. Another reason that lots of people talk about is communication. They just can't communicate with their spouse. Again, this is just a symptom of the underlying issue, that if once you understand this underlying issue, clarifies so much of what's gone on and maybe what's gone wrong in your relationship. Another top reason that people give for divorce is parenting. It's tough enough to raise a child, but it's even harder to agree on how to raise that child and how to come together, much less if there are children involved, how to come together and agree on how to get that child and children from babyhood all the way to adulthood. Another reason it's given is in-law relationships. The fact is that we have families, the families that we grew up in, that keep pulling us back towards them and away from the new family that we've been trying to establish. So the in-law relationships are, again, merely a symptom of the fact that we've got an underlying issue that has to be addressed. Another reason given is extramarital relationships. And of all the reasons given, this to me is one of the biggest symptoms, the symptom of the real underlying issue, because the fact that an extramarital relationship can take place is based on something that's already wrong in the relationships. Now understand that when people have an affair, about 80% of the time the marriage stays together. So it's not that extramarital relationships are actually the ending point of marriages as much as we believe that they are. The divorce rate after an affair is actually lower than in the general population. Another reason that I hear so often and so sadly is we grew apart. This one really begins to point us toward what the real issue is in a relationship and why the relationship tends to fall apart. Now, if we know the real reason, the fact is that we have failed to understand what marriage is really about. That's the real fact. We don't understand what a marriage relationship truly is about, and we have never really made it into the marriage. In other words, we've never made it into what it should be, and that's why we're left with the trouble. Now, if you know what the real reason is, you have a choice. You suddenly are faced with an option. You can move in a healthy direction. You can choose to save and improve your marriage, but only if you get away from the symptoms of the problem and get to the heart of the problem. And here is the heart of the problem. What a marriage really is when two people, a you and a me, find a way to come together and create a we. Now understand, I'm not saying that it's the fact that two individuals lose their identity and suddenly find themselves in a big conglomeration of a single, nor that one person gives up everything about them in order to be connected with the other, but there is an overlap and an interconnection between the two that is so strong that there's not room for an extramarital affair. There's not room for finance problems because finances are all about power. There's not room for the in-laws to pull us apart because we've created such a concrete identity that we are a family that nothing can get in there. So what marriage really is building a we that holds the other things at bay. Now I've told you what a marriage really is. If you want to learn more about becoming a we, go now to www.savethemarriage.com.